Carl Jung reveals, you are a living karma. People regret how they treated you. As Carl Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. What if the pain you've endured, the mistreatment you've faced, was never punishment, but karma in disguise, shaping you into someone unforgettable? Today's video reveals how your very existence becomes the karmic mirror in other people's lives, especially those who failed to honor your spirit. If you've ever felt like people only valued you once you were gone, or regretted how they treated you after your light left their life, this is your confirmation. This message is your spiritual awakening. Are you ready to reclaim your karmic power? Comment below. I am a mirror of divine justice. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom, and turn on the bell, because the next message might be the one that sets your soul free. 1. Chosen ones are living karma. You were never just another person in people's lives. You were the catalyst, the mirror, and the consequence. When people crossed paths with you, their true nature was revealed. Some received blessings beyond measure because they honored your light, while others were confronted with the collapse of the illusions they had carefully built. As you stepped into your spiritual awakening, your presence exposed intentions, revealed deception, and carried the weight of truth that could not be denied. Many who once underestimated or mistreated you now live with regret, realizing too late that you were divine energy walking among them. When they betrayed you, manipulated you, or tried to discard you, they unknowingly signed a karmic contract with themselves. The way they treated you was never really about you. It was a reflection of their inner wounds, their unresolved battles, and their lack of alignment with truth. You were not just a person to be used or played with. You were a force of truth, and truth always carries consequences. Now, they sit in silence, replaying the memories, haunted by what they lost, and by the realization that they cannot undo the damage they created. Your energy has always been pure, and purity cannot exist with deception. When you enter someone's life, your light shines so brightly that it illuminates the shadows they tried to hide. This is why many felt discomfort around you. It was not you they resisted, but the truth your presence awakened within them. Some chose to embrace that light, using it as a chance to grow and transform, while others clung to their lies, resisting change, only to learn that karma is patient. The more they resisted, the harsher the lessons became, until life itself forced them to face the truth they tried to escape. Every soul that crossed your path faced a choice: to align with truth or to be consumed by their own falsehoods. Those who chose truth experienced blessings, clarity, and spiritual growth because your energy elevated them. Those who operated in deceit, jealousy, or manipulation found their worlds crumbling, not because you wished them harm, but because lies cannot withstand the weight of divine presence. When they mistreated someone carrying spiritual wisdom, they set in motion the collapse of their own foundations, and what they built on falsehoods could not endure. Even if you cannot always see it, the regret is there. They watch from a distance, seeing your growth, hearing of your success, and feeling the loss of what they once took for granted. Some will try to return, desperate to repair what they shattered, while others remain silent, unable to face the truth of their actions. Their karma, however, is not your burden to carry. Your only duty is to continue rising, to walk boldly in your spiritual power, and to let your light shine without apology. You are living proof that spirituality is not just an idea, but a force that awakens, transforms, and restores balance. You are a mirror of truth, and through you, others are forced to see who they really are. Comment below, "I am a mirror of truth," if you embrace your power to reveal and transform. Let your presence be the force that awakens those around you. 2. People regret mistreating you. When people mistreat you and later regret it, it is never just about emotions or broken relationships. It runs much deeper. Carl Jung reminded us that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And your presence forces people to face that unconscious truth. As a chosen one, you embody a rare form of spirituality that unsettles those who are not ready for growth. Your energy works like a mirror, reflecting their hidden fears, their insecurities, and their unresolved shadows. Some resist that reflection, refusing accountability, rejecting development, and mocking the very light that was sent to bless them. But the moment you step away, the absence of your spiritual presence shifts the balance of their lives. What once brought them peace, healing, and wisdom is gone, and they are left to wrestle with the consequences of their actions. You carry a divine light that not only guides your own path, but also illuminates the darkness in others. When people betray, deceive, or dismiss you, they are not simply harming you. They are rejecting the higher frequency of spirituality you brought into their lives. And the universe, which always seeks balance, responds with precision. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be." Those who choose manipulation, envy, or deceit align themselves with negativity, and karma begins its work. When you leave, you take your sacred energy with you, and suddenly they notice opportunities fading, relationships collapsing, and inner peace replaced by chaos. At first, denial blinds them. Pride convinces them they are unaffected. Yet time has a way of revealing truth, and gradually they realize that life was smoother, lighter, and fuller when you were near. Regret becomes their silent companion. They watch you from a distance, hoping you have stumbled, but instead they see you thriving, rising higher, and walking in alignment with your destiny. That success becomes their unspoken punishment, not because you sought revenge, but because the universe restores balance. As written in Galatians chapter 6, verse 7, "Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. A man reaps what he sows." Your elevation becomes living proof that spiritual development always triumphs over betrayal and dishonor. Every new level you reach takes you into a frequency that cannot be accessed by those who mistreated you unless they choose humility, healing, and self-awareness. But not everyone is prepared for that path. Healing demands courage, and many would rather linger in regret than confront their shadows. That is why they remain as spectators, observing your growth while chained by their own choices. Yet their regret is not your responsibility. You are not here to soothe their conscience or carry their lessons. You are here to grow, to embody greatness, and to fulfill the divine plan over your life. No betrayal can block what has been written for you. So let them watch and let them wonder, but never let their regret hold you back. Your presence is rare, your energy is sacred, and your journey is designed to elevate you beyond the reach of those who once underestimated you. Each step forward is proof that your spiritual development cannot be hindered by the past. Continue to rise. Continue to trust the balance of karma, and remember that your destiny is unfolding exactly as it should. Are you ready to step into your power and let the universe handle the rest? If so, comment below. I rise above to affirm your strength and embrace your journey forward. 3. You are both a blessing and a warning. You are both a blessing and a warning, a mirror that reveals what others try to hide within themselves. For those ready to evolve, your presence is a light that guides them toward transformation. But for those who resist change, you awaken shadows they would rather ignore. Some respond with gratitude, while others react with jealousy, resentment, or even betrayal. Yet the truth remains, no one meets you and stays the same. As Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. You embody this very truth, and through you, people are forced to confront what lies deep within. Those who lied to you, betrayed you, or abandoned you once believed their actions would carry no consequence. But life has a way of restoring balance with precision. What they thought was weakness in you has become their greatest lesson, because losing you was never just an accident. It was karma unfolding, a divine test they failed. Even those who pretend not to care cannot silence the weight of your memory. In quiet moments, they replay conversations, revisit choices, and wish they could go back. You were not just another person in their story. You were the awakening they were not ready for, a reminder of what they could have gained had they chosen growth instead of fear. The pain they caused was meant to break you, but instead, it became the catalyst for your transformation. Their betrayal carved the path for your strength. Their rejection ignited your wisdom, and their absence opened the space for you to align with your higher purpose. As you rose into this strength, you no longer sought validation from those who could not see your worth. You began to embody your truth with confidence, walking forward not as someone wounded, but as someone reborn. And now they watch you thrive, realizing too late that they were given a rare opportunity to grow beside you. But instead, they resisted the very light that could have elevated them. Their regret is not only about losing you, it is about knowing they turned away from a divine chance to evolve. You are not here to be mistreated or undervalued. You are here to embody intelligence, spiritual wisdom, to awaken those who are ready, and to expose those who are not. When people betray or reject you, it is never a reflection of your worth. It is a reflection of their own limitations. Karma ensures balance, not out of revenge, but to remind every soul that choices carry consequences. As Rumi once wrote, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." Your wounds became the gateway to your awakening, and your scars became the map of your strength. You are not chasing love, respect, or recognition. You are attracting them naturally by living your truth. And as you walk forward, you remind the world that your journey is not only about you, but about awakening everyone who crosses your path. 4. You are a reflection and a test. You were never just another person walking through life. You were always a mirror, a reflection of truth that others could not ignore. Simply by being yourself, you revealed the hidden nature of those around you. Some felt uplifted and inspired in your presence because your light awakened the part of them that longed for growth. Others confronted by their own shadows, rejected you, mistreated you, or even betrayed you. Their treatment of you was never about your worth. It was always a reflection of their own inner struggles. As Carl Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. In this sense, you are living karma, a reminder that no one can escape the energy they release into the world. Your energy works like a spiritual mirror, exposing what lies beneath the surface. Those who are honest and aligned with growth recognize you as a blessing. They see in you wisdom, resilience, and authenticity, and they are drawn closer to their own truth through your presence. But those who live in dishonesty and illusion feel threatened by you. Your light unsettles them, reminding them of their own shortcomings, and instead of confronting themselves, they project their discomfort onto you. They may belittle you, disrespect you, or try to dim your presence, but none of this defines you. Their actions are only proof of their own fear and insecurity. This is why some people feel peace around you, while others carry resentment. Those who cherish you are walking in alignment with truth. They feel your energy as guidance. Those who resist you are clinging to falsehood, unable to face what your presence reveals. In modern life, you can see this clearly in relationships, workplaces, and friendships. Genuine souls will honor you, while insecure ones will compete, gossip, or try to undermine you. But their reactions are not yours to carry. You are not meant to shrink yourself to ease their discomfort. The universe balances everything, and the law of karma never fails. When people mistreat you, they set the stage for their own lessons. Life has a way of circling back, showing them the cost of their choices. You don't need to seek revenge or prove anything. The same people who overlooked or betrayed you will one day regret it, not because you wish for it, but because they will feel the emptiness of losing your energy. Your presence is not replaceable, and its absence becomes a silent teacher. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to stand apart as a beacon of truth. Being chosen comes with challenges, isolation, misunderstanding, and betrayal. Yet it also comes with divine protection. Every difficulty strengthens your spirit and deepens your wisdom. Your task is not to fight battles already taken care of by the universe, but to keep shining, keep walking, and trust the path unfolding before you. Those meant to journey with you will find you, and those who cannot handle your light will remove themselves. Your presence alone is enough. You are living karma, a reflection of truth, and proof that no one escapes the energy they put into the world. If this message resonates with you, comment below, "I am a mirror," to embrace your true reflection and attract clarity into your life. 5. You trigger change in people. There is a power within you that you may not even recognize, yet others feel it the moment they are in your presence. Carl Jung reminded us that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And this is exactly why your energy unsettles people. You are not trying to intimidate or expose them, but your very being becomes a mirror, reflecting the parts of themselves they work so hard to hide. Your presence draws out their shadows, their unspoken guilt, their buried insecurities, and that is why some people feel nervous, restless, or even threatened around you. Gloria Steinem's words capture this perfectly. The truth will set you free, but first, it will make you uncomfortable. You are that uncomfortable truth, a living reminder of what they are avoiding within themselves. Because of this, some may distance themselves or even mistreat you, not because you are in the wrong, but because your light reveals what they cannot bear to face. They may mock you, betray you, or dismiss your kindness, but every action is just a reflection of their inner conflict. Yet life is always ruled by balance, and spiritual wisdom teaches us that energy will always return to its source. The love you give, the patience you show, the light you carry, all of it will come back multiplied. And the pain, dishonesty, or cruelty directed toward you will also circle back, not through your revenge, but through the natural laws of karma. In time, those who underestimated you will see their actions clearly, and regret will rise in their hearts. By then, you will already be beyond their reach, elevated into a higher state of spiritual development where their opinions no longer matter. Gandhi once said, "First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win." And your life is proof of this timeless truth. You don't need to fight back or prove your worth. Your growth is your victory, your transformation is your answer, and your success is your karma. Without any effort to harm them, those who mistreated you will face the very lessons they tried to avoid. Life will orchestrate moments that mirror their behavior, and when that time comes, they will remember how they treated you. But their regret is not a weight for you to carry. It belongs to them. Your only responsibility is to keep walking your path, to keep shining, and to keep rising higher in your divine purpose. As another wise saying goes, when you are truly powerful, you do not need to harm others. Your energy alone rearranges the universe, so never shrink to make others feel comfortable. Never dim your light for spaces that were never designed to hold it. You are not here to fit in. You are here to shift energies, to awaken truth, and to embody transformation. Spirituality is not about pleasing everyone. It is about living as proof that light always overcomes shadow. Those who mistreated you will eventually look back with regret, but by then, you will already be walking in your destiny, radiant and untouchable. Your life itself is a lesson in spiritual wisdom, and your energy is the undeniable reminder that the universe always brings balance. If this message resonates with you, affirm your power in the comments. My energy transforms everything around me. I embrace my divine presence and limitless potential. 6. You disrupt illusions. You disrupt illusions simply by existing, because your very energy carries a force that unsettles those who hide behind deception. You do not need to expose lies with effort, for your essence itself reflects truth. When you enter a room, facades begin to crumble, not because you attack them, but because authenticity naturally dissolves what is false. Those who resist change feel uncomfortable in your presence, and instead of admitting that your light reveals their shadows, they project blame onto you. They see you as the cause of their unease, when in reality, you are the mirror reflecting what they do not wish to face. For some, you embody living karma. You do not wish harm upon anyone, but your spiritual awakening acts as a constant reminder of the integrity and courage they lack. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." In the same way, your presence forces others to confront what they hide, and when they are not ready, they turn to criticism, rejection, or attempts to dim your light. They do not realize that their discomfort is not about you, but about their resistance to transformation. Deep down, they know your very being urges them to evolve, yet they remain in the battle they are unwilling to fight. You have been underestimated many times. Your kindness was mistaken for weakness, your silence for ignorance. People thought they could take advantage of your generosity, only to later feel the emptiness when you withdrew. Regret then begins to haunt them, for they remember dismissing you, rejecting your wisdom, or trying to wound your spirit, only to discover they are stuck in cycles you broke free from long ago. While they remain bound by illusions, you rise higher, embrace peace, and transform pain into strength. As Jung said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." And you chose growth. Your journey was never about revenge or proving yourself. You never needed validation from those who could not see your worth. Every betrayal and every rejection became a divine test, shaping you into someone unshakable. You walk through the fire, not to be destroyed by it, but to emerge purified and resilient. That is the essence of intelligent spiritual wisdom. It is not merely seeing the truth, but embodying it with every step. Never dim your light to make others comfortable. Those meant for you will recognize and honor your truth, while those who resist will only reveal their own nature. You are not here to please. You are here to awaken, to inspire, and to heal. When people regret how they treated you, it is not your burden to carry, for that lesson belongs to them. Your presence alone is a catalyst for transformation, and though not everyone can handle it, those who are destined will be drawn to your light. Keep walking in alignment, for your path is sacred, and your awakening is the proof that truth cannot be silenced. If you're ready to break free from illusions and embrace the truth, don't hesitate to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's awaken together. 7. Your silence is powerful. Those who once mistreated you, belittled you, or tried to manipulate your spirit will eventually face the undeniable truth that they were wrong about you, because your silence was never weakness, but a force they could not comprehend. They thrived on your reactions, feeding off your anger, your explanations, your attempts to defend yourself, and they believed their control depended on how deeply they could pull you into their chaos. But when you chose to master yourself, when you stopped responding and refused to engage, everything they built crumbled. Silence stripped away their illusions and exposed the emptiness of their power. Suddenly, their words echoed back to them. Their manipulation turned into noise they could no longer escape, and the darkness they tried to project outward forced them to confront itself. There is profound spiritual wisdom in this choice. Silence is not surrender, it is elevation. It is the act of rising above the battlefield and refusing to wrestle in the mud with those who crave your energy. As the saying goes, never wrestle with pigs. You both get dirty, but only the pig enjoys it. By walking away, you shift the power dynamic, because the moment you remove yourself, they lose access to your light, your patience, and your sacred energy. In modern life, whether in relationships, workplaces, or friendships, this truth repeats itself when you stop explaining, stop defending, and simply move forward. You reclaim your peace and declare that your energy is too valuable to be wasted on chaos. Those who wronged you are left to sit in the misery they once tried to inflict upon you. Without your kindness, without your presence, without your light, their world feels hollow and regret takes root. And here lies the divine truth. You are their karma. Not by seeking revenge, not by lowering yourself to their level, but simply by continuing to live in alignment with your truth. Your growth, your success, your serenity become proof that their attempts to break you only made you stronger. This is the essence of spirituality and spiritual awakening. To rise above manipulation, to transform pain into power, and to let your very existence be the mirror that reflects their mistakes back to them. Every step you take in silence, every moment you choose peace over reaction, becomes a declaration that your soul cannot be controlled. They may regret how they treated you, but by the time they awaken to your worth, you will already have ascended beyond their reach. Your silence is power, your energy is sacred, and your elevation is the greatest response of all. Stay connected with our community of wisdom by subscribing to our channel. Here, we uncover the truth about energy, manipulation, and self-mastery, empowering you to rise above negativity. Remember, your peace is your power. Choose silence, walk away, and let them face their own darkness. 8. You were sent to stand out, not fit in. You were never meant to blend into the background because the universe designed you to stand out. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, and your true self carries an energy that cannot be hidden. Without forcing, without demanding, your very presence shifts the atmosphere. People feel something stir inside them when they meet you, even if they cannot name it. Some are inspired, awaken to their own journey of self-discovery, while others feel exposed because your light uncovers the shadows they have been trying to bury. This is why you have known betrayal, rejection, and resistance, not as proof of weakness, but as evidence of the deep truths your spirit reveals to those who come close. Your energy does not attract attention because you seek it, but because your soul vibrates at a frequency that demands change. No one can stay stagnant around you. They are either inspired to rise higher, or their hidden nature surfaces, showing who they really are. That is why you may have been dismissed, disrespected, or taken for granted in past relationships. Those who mistreated you failed to recognize that they had been given the rare opportunity to walk beside someone carrying intelligence, spiritual wisdom, and a soul awakened to its divine essence. Now, as you grow stronger, they carry the weight of regret, realizing too late that your presence was not just company, it was transformation. You do not need to chase revenge or force people to regret how they treated you, because your life itself is karma in motion. The universe balances what you cannot. The lessons you left in the lives of others echo long after you have moved forward. Some will one day realize they stood in the presence of someone extraordinary, someone whose light was a gift. But by the time that revelation arrives, you will already have stepped into a greater version of yourself, rising higher, walking with clarity, and aligned with your divine calling. Jung reminds us, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. You were the mirror that forced them to see what they tried to hide, and now their fate is to live with the truth they once denied. To be chosen is to embrace the solitude that sometimes comes with the path. It means accepting that not everyone is meant to stand beside you. Some drift away, not because you are unworthy, but because they are unready for the transformation your presence demands. Do not dim your light to ease their discomfort. You were born to awaken, to heal, and to inspire. The universe has placed you exactly where you need to be, surrounded by those who are ready to rise with you, while others fall away by the natural law of growth. Every rejection, every betrayal, and every ounce of regret others carry is simply part of the design that pushes you closer to your destiny. Stay unwavering, because your journey is unfolding with divine precision. Let people remember you, regret losing you, and learn from the absence of your energy. You were never created to fit in. You were created to stand out as a living reminder that light cannot be hidden. This is the essence of spiritual awakening, the intelligence of spiritual wisdom, and the sacred truth of walking as your authentic self. 9. Solitude was part of your journey. There were moments when solitude pressed against your heart like an unbearable weight, when the people you trusted turned their backs, and relationships that once felt unshakable suddenly fell apart. Yet that solitude was never a curse. It was a blessing in disguise, a divine stage of preparation. The universe was not abandoning you, but refining you, sharpening your vision, deepening your intuition, and strengthening your inner power, so you could carry the kind of wisdom that cannot be taught by comfort. In the stillness of those lonely hours, you found clarity to see through deception, resilience to rise from betrayal, and courage to continue even when no one else stood beside you. As Rumi said, "The wound is the place where the light enters you, and every wound you carried became the opening through which your light poured." Once, you were dismissed, underestimated, and even mocked. Your kindness was misread as weakness, your loyalty taken for granted. But now, those same people watch from afar, filled with regret. They sense the shift in your energy, the undeniable presence you carry, the aura of wisdom and strength that demands respect. You have become divinely set apart, and in losing you, they lost a blessing they never understood. Their regret is their karma, the return of their own choices, the echo of every moment they failed to honor what was sacred. You never needed revenge because your transformation itself became the answer. The universe worked on your behalf, and your thriving became the most powerful response to betrayal. As Carl Jung revealed, until people make the unconscious conscious, it directs their lives, and they call it fate. Those who wronged you now confront the consequences of their unconscious actions, seeing clearly only after you have risen beyond them. Your existence, your success, your healing, these speak louder than any words of retaliation could. The law of energy is simple. What we give is what we receive, and their own choices have returned to them. You are no longer the person they once knew. You have elevated, healed, and embraced your spiritual power. Spirituality and spiritual development have transformed you into someone aligned with a greater destiny, one that surpasses the imagination of those who doubted you. Your solitude was not abandonment, but sacred preparation, a divine pause to reconnect you with your higher calling. It was never about who left or who stayed. It was about awakening the light within you that no one could take away. Do not dwell on the past or waste your energy on those who failed to see your worth. Walk boldly into your destiny, trusting that divine timing has always been on your side. Your life now stands as living proof that pain can transform into wisdom, betrayal into strength, and solitude into awakening. And as those who once underestimated you look on with regret, they will finally understand you were never just another person in their story. You were the lesson their soul had to learn. If this message resonates with you, comment, "I am grateful for my transformation," to affirm your journey. Your solitude was never abandonment, it was preparation. 10. Your energy is unstoppable. Your energy is unstoppable, carrying a frequency that no manipulation or attack could ever suppress, because what sustains you is not external, but deeply spiritual, a force that no human hand can take away. Many mistook your humility for weakness and your kindness for naivety, believing they had control over your destiny. Yet you were always aware, always discerning, sensing the betrayals before they unfolded, and choosing not to fall into the trap of proving them wrong, but to remain faithful to proving yourself right. Now, as you rise into your true power, those who once sought to diminish your light are forced to watch from the shadows, unable to ignore the brilliance of your transformation, because spiritual awakening does not shrink under pressure. It expands, it elevates, it transforms, and you, the chosen one, are the very embodiment of transformation. Every hardship you endured was not wasted, but woven into the fabric of your becoming. Every tear, sleepless night, and lonely silence became a sacred initiation, not punishment, but preparation, for the path of a chosen soul was never meant to be easy. Betrayal taught you discernment. Loss carved resilience into your spirit. Solitude gave you unshakable faith in yourself and in the divine order guiding your steps. Looking back, the once insurmountable obstacles now reveal themselves as stepping stones, shaping your strength, awakening your spirit, and proving that what once looked like suffering was in truth the refining fire of destiny. Those who laughed at your pain now stand silenced by your triumph, burdened by regret as they realize you were never a victim, but a vessel of greatness they could not comprehend. The world has long conditioned people to stay small, to settle for mediocrity, to fear the unknown. But your very essence refuses to be confined by such limits. You are not here to blend in. You are here to disrupt illusions, to shift realities, to break generational cycles, to awaken others from the sleep of conformity. Your presence alone challenges the false comfort of the ordinary. And that is why your path was heavy, because the energy you carry is powerful enough to stir the very fabric of existence. And now, as you rise beyond every limitation, those who doubted you are confronted by the undeniable truth of your transformation, witnessing divine justice unfold in real time, forced to face that their mistreatment was never hidden from the universe. You are the living proof that spiritual power transcends all boundaries, the embodiment of karma itself, reminding the world that every word, every action, every intention leaves an imprint. Those who once dismissed your vision now long to understand the secret of your radiance, yet they cannot, because the energy you embody cannot be duplicated. It is divine, it is rare, it is yours alone. While they wrestle with regret, you move forward untouched, unstoppable, aligned fully with your higher calling. You are the karma they never foresaw, the lesson they never wanted to learn, the truth they cannot escape. You stand tall in your authenticity, walking in a light that was never meant to be hidden, carrying a power the world has yet to see in full. And when it does, they will know they never had the power to break you. for you are always destined to rise. If this message has awakened something deep within you, affirm your power in the comments. I am unstoppable. Every challenge has made me stronger. I am here to transform reality. Carl Jung warns us, modern social life feels like psychological torture. All the world's a stage, wrote Shakespeare. But what happens when the performance becomes a prison? Carl Jung once warned that the more society conforms to the persona, the mask we wear in public, the more disconnected we become from our true self. In a world obsessed with surface-level networking, filtered smiles, and shallow exchanges, many of us feel like we're suffocating in a crowd scene, but not truly known. If you've ever walked into a room and felt lonelier than when you were alone, this message is for you. Drop a comment below and tell us, have you ever felt socially drained just by trying to be polite? Let's talk about it. Your voice might be the one that makes someone else feel seen. 1. Modern social life is performative and inauthentic. Most people today don't realize they're living inside a performance. Modern social life has become a stage where authenticity is sacrificed for applause, where every smile is rehearsed and every word is filtered for approval. People no longer show up as themselves. They show up as the version they think will be accepted. This isn't a connection. It's survival dressed in charm. And the tragedy is, we've gotten so used to pretending that we forget what it feels like to be real. You sense it when conversations feel hollow, when you walk away from a gathering more drained than nourished, when your laughter sounds loud, but your soul stays silent. This psychological dissonance is the cost of conforming to a world that fears the raw and the true. Carl Jung warned us that when we trade our authenticity for belonging, we lose both. He said, shame is a soul-eating emotion, and in today's world, shame hides behind smiles, behind curated profiles, behind the constant need to be liked. Most social interactions are not rooted in presence, but in performance. They're transactional, not transformational. The goal isn't to connect, but to impress. And what's even more dangerous is that we've normalized this. We've built a culture where being emotionally unavailable is cool, where small talk replaces truth, and where being too deep, too real, too sincere is seen as weakness. Jung, along with other visionaries like Schopenhauer, Kierkegaard, and Nietzsche, exposed the illusion of the crowd. They all agreed, the masses do not represent truth. The crowd seduces you into forgetting yourself. It rewards the persona and punishes the soul. And so, we wear masks, one for work, another for friends, a third for family, until the original face fades completely. The more you split yourself to be accepted by others, the more disconnected you become from your essence. The irony is, the more you try to fit in, the more invisible you feel. This is why so many feel lonely, even in a room full of people. Not because they're alone, but because no one sees the real version of them. The spiritual wisdom buried in this discomfort is that your sensitivity is not a flaw. It's your intelligence speaking. It's your unconscious whispering, this isn't you. You're not meant to be an actor in someone else's play. You're meant to be the author of your own. When everything feels fake around you, it's because the truth within you is waking up. You're becoming allergic to inauthenticity. You're no longer able to tolerate shallow energy, and that's a sign of growth, not isolation. When the soul begins to remember itself, it no longer fits into spaces built for masks. It craves depth, silence, presence, and truth. To reclaim yourself in a world that's constantly asking you to edit who you are is the ultimate act of spiritual rebellion. To stop performing and start feeling. To stop impressing and start expressing. Jung said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." And yet, that is the exact path to liberation. When you start honoring what feels true instead of what looks good, you begin to live in alignment. You begin to attract real connections, relationships that don't demand masks, but invite presence. This isn't about withdrawing from society. It's about transforming how you show up in it, not as a product of it, but as a conscious creator within it. Comment below, "I value authenticity over performance," if you're ready to break free from the inauthentic roles modern society expects you to play. 2. Authenticity is punished, not rewarded. Those who refuse to dilute their truth are often labeled as difficult. In a society obsessed with presentation, the person who values depth over politeness, silence over performance, and authenticity over approval becomes a threat to the unspoken rules. You are not antisocial because you dislike small talk. You are not anxious because you avoid shallow conversations. What you're experiencing is not a disorder, it's spiritual awakening. You are sensitive to energy, attuned to truth, and unwilling to trade your peace for performance. While others are content to exist in carefully curated versions of themselves, you long for something real, something unfiltered, raw, and honest. And that longing makes you rare. The discomfort you feel in modern social life is not a personal flaw. It is evidence of your emotional intelligence and spiritual depth. And those qualities do not flourish in rooms that reward masks over mindfulness. Every time you step into a space where your silence is mistaken for weakness, or your honesty is mistaken for rudeness, remember that you're not meant to blend in. You're wired to connect, not conform. You're here to feel the frequency beneath the words, to sense what is unspoken, to see the soul behind the smile. That level of perception is a sacred gift. But in a world that fears vulnerability, it is often misjudged. People who value noise over nuance cannot grasp the quiet power of your presence. And so they call it awkward. But Carl Jung reminded us that the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. When you accept your depth, your clarity, your need for meaning, you disrupt the entire illusion that being socially accepted equals being spiritually fulfilled. You might feel like you don't belong in spaces where performance is the norm. That's because you don't. Your spirit rejects pretense. Your nervous system reacts to fakeness like poison. You're not interested in surface-level status games. You're here for soul recognition. That's why you feel out of sync in rooms filled with polite competition and energetic masks. You can't pretend you didn't notice the disconnect. And that's not a weakness. That's what it means to be awake. In a world that celebrates artificial connection, real presence is revolutionary. The pain of being misunderstood is not a sign you should shrink. It is a signal that you're growing beyond the need for approval. Spiritual wisdom teaches us that what isolates you today will elevate you tomorrow, because your vibration will call in those who don't just see your light, but speak your language. The more you honor your need for sacred solitude, authentic connection, and soul-centered conversation, the more you create space for your true tribe. You don't need to explain your silence. apologize for your intensity, or pretend you're okay in environments that numb your soul. You are not broken for needing depth. You are not too much for wanting meaning. You are simply tuned in to a higher frequency of truth. In that space, you will never need to perform. You will only need to be. And being, in its most honest form, is the most powerful act of all. If you've ever felt punished for simply being yourself, you're not alone. Like this video, subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom, and share your truth in the comments. Type, "I honor my authentic self, no matter the cost." 3. Noise addiction and toxic positivity dominate. Modern society thrives on distraction. We are surrounded by a relentless stream of notifications, background noise, performative conversations, and curated lives on social media. What once might have been tools for connection have become compulsions we rarely question. The addiction to noise, both digital and emotional, has left us estranged from silence, afraid of our own depth, and uncomfortable with solitude. In this cultural climate, where the surface is celebrated and inner stillness is misinterpreted as laziness or depression, those who seek truth are often labeled as too sensitive or too much. But the truth is, our aversion to silence isn't a neutral habit. It is a spiritual disconnection, a sign that we have become strangers to ourselves. Carl Jung observed that modern life, when stripped of reflection and authenticity, becomes a kind of psychological torture for those who long to live with meaning. He saw early on what is now undeniable: a society that encourages noise to avoid feeling and rewards masks over the soul. And yet, when someone speaks honestly about their inner battles, they're often met not with empathy, but with what we now call toxic positivity, a forced optimism that dismisses pain rather than honors it. Just be grateful, they say. Think positive thoughts, as if gratitude could replace the deeper need to be heard, seen, and understood. In a world obsessed with good vibes, real emotion becomes unwelcome. But spiritual development cannot happen in a vacuum of denial. It demands presence, courage, and the willingness to sit in uncomfortable truths. Spirituality is not about perfection or constant bliss. It's about wholeness. And wholeness includes the shadow, the grief, the silence, and the aching questions that arise when life no longer fits the story we've been told to live. When conversations feel hollow, when small talk becomes unbearable, when being around others feels more draining than nourishing, it isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign that your soul is awakening to deeper frequencies that cannot be met by superficial noise. Those on a path of spiritual awakening often experience tension with the world because they are no longer willing to perform. They don't want to entertain or be entertained. They want truth. And truth requires space. It requires slowness. It requires that you pause long enough to hear the voice within you that's been buried under obligations and expectations. Jung reminded us that becoming who you truly are is the work of a lifetime. But you can't become that person if you're constantly plugged into everyone else's noise. You must dare to be silent. You must learn to be alone without being lonely. You must honor the quiet not as emptiness, but as a sacred field of transformation. Silence doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means something real is beginning. So the next time you feel anxious in a loud room, or guilty for needing space, remember that your resistance isn't dysfunction, it's wisdom. It's the sign that your spirituality is evolving, that your nervous system no longer tolerates what your soul has outgrown, and that your true life is not found in noise, but in the quiet clarity of being. 4. Social media weaponizes comparison and image crafting. Everyone is performing. On social media, they craft an illusion so carefully it almost feels real pictures that suggest joy, success, love, adventure. But if you look closely, you'll see the truth hidden in plain sight. Behind the filters and captions is quiet suffering, hidden insecurities, and emotional fatigue disguised as lifestyle inspiration. Real pain is replaced with the maintenance of an image. Instead of healing, people are managing a brand. And slowly, what used to be a tool for connection has become a mirror that reflects only what we wish we were never who we actually are. As Carl Jung warned, shame is a soul-eating emotion, and modern social media thrives on that shame, feeding our desire to be accepted while disconnecting us from our authentic self. The result is a collective spiritual sickness, one that doesn't show up in the body at first, but in the soul. It starts as comparison. You scroll, and suddenly your joy dulls. Your achievements feel smaller. Your presence starts to shrink. Everyone else seems ahead, happier, more loved, more aligned. You start chasing their rhythm instead of honoring your own. This isn't a coincidence, it's by design. The algorithm knows what will hook you: desire, envy, validation. Your nervous system, intelligent and ancient, is flooded with signals of inadequacy. You're not broken. You're reacting in a deeply human way to a machine built to manipulate emotion. This isn't spiritual awakening, it's psychological torture disguised as entertainment. What's even more dangerous is how this culture punishes honesty. When someone shares their real pain, it's seen as weakness, oversharing, or attention-seeking. But when someone fakes joy, they're rewarded. We've created a system that reinforces emotional dishonesty. And over time, that pressure forces people to disconnect from their truth. Carl Jung spoke of the persona, the mask we wear to meet the world. And today, that mask isn't just worn, it's algorithmically enhanced. The more polished your mask, the more engagement you receive. But the soul doesn't thrive in performance. It withers. And we wonder why we feel so alone, even when we're constantly connected. True intelligence now lies in choosing presence over performance, depth over display, stillness over spectacle. Spiritual wisdom means reclaiming the parts of yourself that no longer fit into the polished narrative you've been crafting for others. It's asking yourself, what do I feel beneath the performance? And being brave enough to sit with that answer. This isn't about deleting social media. It's about no longer letting it shape your identity. When you stop comparing, you start connecting. When you stop performing, you start healing. And when you return to your inner truth, the noise loses its power. In a world built to distract you from yourself, coming home to who you are is the most intelligent act of rebellion. Have you ever caught yourself comparing your life to a filtered highlight reel online? If so, share your experience in the comments. Your honesty could help someone feel less alone. If not, comment, I will become more conscious. To join this journey of spiritual awakening and authentic self-worth. 5. Existential loneliness and the rare individual. Some individuals walk through life carrying an ache they can't quite explain, too spiritually awake to conform, too emotionally aware to disconnect. They are not broken, just rare. These are the ones who experience what can only be called existential torture, an invisible wound that comes from seeing through the illusions of modern life while still longing to feel part of it. In a society that idolizes convenience and rewards obedience, the depth of their perception becomes a liability. They crave intimacy, not just interaction. They yearn for conversations that touch the soul, not scripts that follow social rules. Yet every encounter feels rehearsed, every smile a performance, every "how are you?" a ritual with no real listening. They're surrounded by people, but feel completely alone, not because they are antisocial, but because their soul can no longer breathe in a world built on pretending. The world punishes authenticity, and so they suffer not from weakness, but from a rare form of strength. Carl Jung once said, "A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them." For those who feel this way, the inferno isn't chaos on the outside. It's the quiet agony of being hyper-attuned in a world that demands numbness. The torture is subtle but relentless, pretending to laugh at jokes that aren't funny, forcing conversations that feel robotic, attending gatherings that feel more like costumes than communion. And yet, despite this alienation, there remains a burning need to connect, to be seen, to be felt, to be understood. But connection requires resonance. And when the vibration of your soul has shifted, most of the world will sound out of tune. This spiritual dissonance becomes the price of awakening. You don't want to isolate, but neither can you keep abandoning your truth just to belong. You begin to realize that this isolation is not rejection, it is redirection. It is your soul pulling you away from what is artificial, so it can prepare you for what is real. There is a sacred wisdom hidden in this loneliness. While others are chasing validation, you're being taught self-reverence. While others numb their discomfort, you're being shown how to feel it all and transmute it. You start to see your suffering not as failure, but as a sign of your depth. Your discomfort is not dysfunction. It is your nervous system rejecting falsehood. Your sadness is not weakness. It is grief for the parts of you that had to die to become this awake. In a world obsessed with speed, you are learning to pause. In a culture that praises conformity, you are choosing alignment. Spiritual awakening does not come with applause. It comes with silence, with solitude, with surrender. But in that sacred space, something miraculous happens, and you begin to hear your soul again. And once you hear it, you can never go back. You begin to recognize that the world was never designed for rare souls like yours to fit in. It was waiting for you to remember that you were never meant to. You were meant to awaken it. 6. Solitude is a sacred rebellion. Solitude, for those undergoing true spiritual development, is not loneliness. It is a sacred rebellion against a world obsessed with performance and noise. It is a return to clarity, to authenticity, to the unfiltered presence of self that no longer bows to shallow expectations. In solitude, there is no need to perform, no pressure to entertain, no mask to wear. It becomes a mirror where your soul can finally speak without interruption. This is not isolation. It is liberation. It is the space where your mind clears, your intuition sharpens, and your energy resets. Choosing solitude over superficial connection is not a flaw. It is the highest form of self-respect. You are no longer willing to be in rooms where your truth must be silenced to maintain false harmony. You are no longer available for relationships that exist only to distract you from yourself. The world will call this distance, but it is actually depth. Carl Jung reminds us that loneliness does not come from being alone, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important. And when the world feels too noisy to hold your truth, you are not lost. You are being called inward. In solitude, you start to recognize the difference between connection and attachment. You stop mistaking attention for love. You begin to sense that your presence is too sacred to be spent in environments that don't nourish you. This is where spirituality deepens, not in the constant stimulation of the external world, but in the stillness that reveals what is real. You learn to sit with your emotions, to witness your shadows, to honor your truth without the need for applause. You realize that peace is not found in fixing everything outside of you. It's found in mastering the relationship within. And this mastery begins when you stop running from your own presence. The longer you sit with yourself, the clearer your boundaries become. The sharper your discernment grows, and the more aligned your life begins to feel. This is not withdrawal, it's refinement. You start to understand that some rooms go silent when you enter, not because you are invisible, but because your energy is louder than their noise. You are not too quiet. You are just tuned in to a different frequency. You are not too intense. You simply see through the illusion. And you are not too distant. You are just deeply connected to something most people have forgotten: their soul. When you choose solitude, you are not turning your back on the world. You are turning toward your inner world, which holds the key to everything meaningful. Solitude teaches you to be your own sanctuary. It trains you to stop seeking from others what only your spirit can provide. And in doing so, it elevates your relationships, because now you are no longer relating from emptiness, but from overflow. You give not to be needed, but to be true. You love not to fill a void, but to share a fullness. This is the power of solitude. It purifies your intention, it deepens your presence, and it sharpens your purpose. In the sacred stillness of your own being, you no longer beg to be seen, you radiate. You no longer chase connections, you embody it. And you no longer fear being alone, because you have met the only companion that will never abandon you yourself. Solitude isn't weakness, it's a sacred rebellion in a noisy world. If you're embracing this quiet power, subscribe for more wisdom on reclaiming your inner peace and rising above the chaos. Don't forget to like, share, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of spiritual insight. 7. The truth hurts, but liberates. You're not broken for feeling like modern social life is suffocating. You're just one of the few who can no longer numb your soul to survive in it. When you walk into a room and immediately sense the energy, when small talk feels like sandpaper against your skin, when everyone's smile looks rehearsed and you find yourself questioning why no one says what they truly feel. What you're experiencing isn't dysfunction. It's intelligence. It's spiritual wisdom. Carl Jung understood this when he said, "The more you become who you truly are, the more lonely the path may seem, because few have dared to travel there." You crave depth in a culture addicted to dopamine. You seek truth in a society designed for performance. You're not too intense. The world has simply become too comfortable with the shallow. Most people have adapted to the psychological theater playing roles, collecting praise, performing empathy. But you feel everything. You see the truth between the lines. You can't fake laughter when your heart feels heavy. You can't sit in rooms where everyone's pretending to be fine while silently screaming inside. And the truth is, that makes you rare. This world rewards masks more than it values authenticity. And for someone like you, whose nervous system is wired for sincerity that feels like torture, you weren't made to nod along in conversations that numb you. You weren't born to chase validation in rooms that drain you. You were born to stand in the raw, unfiltered light of who you are. But when you do, the world calls it too much. You see, people fear what they can't control, and authenticity, real soul presence, is uncontrollable. That's why your spiritual awakening feels like an exile. You've been cast out of the normal, not because you're wrong, but because you're awake. Jung taught that loneliness is not the absence of people, but the inability to communicate things that matter to you. So you sit in rooms full of people, feeling more alone than ever, not because you're antisocial, but because you're real in a world that forgot how to be. And even if others can't meet you in that truth, don't abandon it. Your desire for solitude is not escapism. It's your soul detoxing from societal noise. Your discomfort in surface-level connection is your higher self refusing to settle. And your sadness when people dismiss your depth is not weakness. It's evidence that your heart is still alive in a world that trades feeling for function. You don't have to apologize for wanting something real. You don't have to explain your silence or your sensitivity. Protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. Be the one who brings soul back into the room. Be the one who doesn't pretend just to be accepted. Be the reminder that truth still exists, even if it's whispered. The world needs that, even if it doesn't say so. Stay rare. Stay real. Stay you. If this message made you feel seen in a world that often misunderstands the sensitive and introspective soul, know that you're not alone. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." In a society that rewards masks and punishes authenticity, choosing to stay rooted in your truth is a radical act of spiritual wisdom. If this resonated with you, help us grow this movement. Like this video, share it with someone who feels the same silent ache, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom so you never miss a moment of truth and healing. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell, because the next video might just be the reminder your soul has been waiting for.